Hello, and welcome back to the Let's Talk Horse Business podcast with me, George Betson, the equestrian business strategist, founder of Fonshore Equine Transport, and all-out equestrian business enthusiast. And today, on this episode, I'm going to bring to you a real story, the real side of what goes on behind the scenes in these equestrian businesses, behind the people that are behind the scenes in these equestrian businesses, because it always looks great on the front, but actually what's going on behind the scenes. So please sit back, enjoy this episode because it's raw, it's real, and it's down to who we are as people. Today's episode, I wanted to bring something not about the educational side of business and not about other people and interviews, but actually just the raw side. Because in last week's episode, I took some time out to let you know about a big business leap I took, the risks I took, and that has been incredible. But behind all of that is also a person who sometimes struggles with direction, sometimes struggles to know who they are and their personality. And the reason I wanted to share this with you, is because I don't believe it's just individuals that feel like this. In fact, I feel like a lot of people here will resonate with this as you're running busy equestrian businesses, wondering what on earth you're doing it for, or whether you're running a livery yard and running around after all of these people and horses and actually wondering what is in it for me. And I guess I don't necessarily feel like that, but I've definitely had a day where I'm sort of wondering what my purpose and direction is. Is it a specific thing, or is it lots of things? What should I be focusing on? What else? Sort of just all out feeling like everything that you're doing, you're running at 1,000 miles an hour and actually don't necessarily feel like you're getting anywhere. I took to the streets yesterday, so I went out to get some dinner. And I just finished dinner and I was just thinking, well, what on earth is next? So I walked up and down the high street just to try and give myself a breather. And I actually called my brother, who, when it's one of those moments, who do you call? And I just said to him, I know it's late, but I don't really know. I'm walking along just wondering, almost having a personality crisis, having a who am I crisis. What am I? What is my purpose here? And that might seem deep to some of you, but actually that might resonate with some of you, because we get stuck in certain situations and sometimes it takes a moment to come out of it and actually look at the broader picture and say, well, actually, who are you? So yeah, that's what I was feeling like yesterday. So I called my brother and he basically said that we talked about what I'm doing, what I like doing, what I don't like doing. And we talked about the podcast. We talked about my equestrian businesses. And I just expressed how I'm doing all of this. And there's some great leaps and great roads. I've got some great equestrian business going on. I've got fantastic clients that I work with. And it's not to say this is every day, but in this moment, and I just want, please let me know if you resonate with it. It's just, actually, who am I? I'm 32 years old. I'm doing all of these things. I'm not where I want to be, but where is where I want to be? And how am I going to get there? Am I heading in the right direction? Is this for me? All of these self-questioning, self-doubting, overwhelmed sensations that I was having. And anyway, I had a great conversation with my brother, and he shared his thoughts on it because he's also been through that in his own way as well. And it got me thinking about how businesses really exist to serve us, but actually they can often lead to stealing our time, stealing our enjoyment, you know. And I'm wondering if that's like it is for a lot of people. I love building businesses, but in the starting phase, in the early days, and my equestrian horse transport business is now just over 3 years old, and it's been hard, and it's great, and I've learned a lot, and that is doing its thing, and that is great. But there's also other things which are hard, and this podcast, whilst it's one of the most fascinating, incredible, different dimensions to anything I was used to beforehand, it's still tough. You still got to work on it. There's still things you need to do. There's always a cost disassociated. There's always whether it's a financial cost, an emotional cost, a time cost. The social media side of it that comes with it as well. And anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, because I just wonder, it must be more than just myself that gets that. There must be other people out there who are running their businesses and not really sure if it's the right thing to do. How do you know if something? This is a great thought. How do you know if something is the right thing for you to do? Because at the time you probably don't. But it's if you don't try something, and this is a bit like why I took that risk, and I mentioned it in the last episode, because by taking that risk, not only have I managed to understand if it's for me, but I've also managed to learn a lot from it. I've set up another business. It's made money. Actually, in this instance, I can be totally honest on here, seeing as it's my own podcast. It isn't for me. I don't think that type of service is for me long term. It's not really part of my vision and plan. But it was only by taking that risk did I learn that that's what I was thinking. And that's how I feel about it, because it's been an itch. It's been an itch on my back for months and months. I've spoken to several people about it, and it's like, I'm glad I've scratched that blooming itch. But it still then obviously led me to this point where I'm now like, well, what is me? What is it? Because I don't know about you, but there's people that have a set career, let's say, and they go into education with that career in mind. They come out of education, they get that career. They do really well at that career, and that is their life, and they love it. But I was never that kid, because I never knew who I was going to be. I always knew I had a higher drive, a higher purpose, needed more. I always knew that I wanted a balance. I really like balance over a lot of things. But I didn't know what my thing would be. And I do feel like I'm finding it now with this. And yes, okay, I've had a bad day yesterday. I'm sure everybody has a bad day. But yeah, I just want to share that with you, really. Because the final thought on that was, we're doing all these businesses, we're trialing and erroring. And at the end of the day, businesses exist to serve us and not to steal from us. And I think a lot of the clients I speak to and a lot of the businesses that I see, they do steal from people. They don't actually serve them how they want them to. But the problem is you get stuck in this rut of not knowing how or when to make a change, because change is hard, change can be expensive, but change can also lead to a level of uncertainty, which also people do not like. I think what's important to note of all of this is that we all start for a reason. I mean, I don't think there's anyone listening to this that hasn't started whatever they're doing today, like myself, for a reason. Now, that reason can be deliberate, but that reason can be accidental, and it depends on how you take it at the moment and your mindset around it. My transport company, I started that for a reason, but the reason and the shape it took for today is very different. Again, not a bad thing. It's all worked out really well. But we all start something for a reason. And if we find it compelling to start it, whether it be to help other people, to satisfy our own goals, whether it's to you've got a spare bit of land and you can make a bit of income with it, or whether, there's always a reason, whether it's your reason or you find that you're solving a problem for somebody else, which is always the better way to do it. You're providing an outcome to other people. But whatever that is, you have started for a reason. And I think it's really important to reflect. Are you now stuck in it? Are you started something with all the right intentions, but for whatever reason today, because this is a process I was going through. For whatever reason today, are you stuck there because you are worrying about letting people down? Whether you don't see the way out, or perhaps you feel stuck, but you also know it's going somewhere, and you know that you're capable of making it into something. Perhaps you're the bottleneck in the business, and you need to think about how we can change that. Because at the end of the day, the answer does only lie within yourself. And it sometimes takes other people or other situations to make you reconsider them. But yeah, one thing that's really helped me is being able to talk and connect with other people. Like I say, I spoke to my brother about it and he gave his wisdom. But actually, I'm surrounded by incredible mentors, people who really know their stuff, billionaires, millionaires, and just downright good business people. And they're the people that help me make these decisions. But still, even yesterday, I have these moments where I'm just wondering, what is it all for? Who am I? And where am I going? I'm 32. What on earth is for me in this world? And if you resonate with that, please do follow us and keep in contact, because I'd love to hear about it. And if you're also having any issues or struggles with your business, or you do feel stuck, or you're also having one of those moments I had yesterday, because we all have them, and there should always be somebody that you can reach out to. And if you don't have anybody, or you want somebody who's totally independent, well, you've got me. So just find me, contact me, message me. I'll do my best to help you. But I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's been very different, very relaxed, very based on my thoughts and processes of the past couple of days. And I just really wanted to bring a much more real side to it. It's all well and good talking about the business, facts, figures, strategies, marketing, business plans, finances. But actually, sometimes it's good to just reflect on the real people who are behind it all. And so I'll just finish by saying that yesterday, after I went through this process, and then today, where I've actually spoken to a couple of mentors, I've actually had my own call with a client this morning, which was really helpful for me in many ways. But then I also spoke to one of my mentors, and they were able just to shed some really simple advice, some light on different things, which really helps make that difference. And if I could do that for somebody else, that would be the biggest gift that I could give. So yeah, it really ends on, just remember what the end goal is in mind. What is the end goal? Financially, physically, mentally, family, whatever that is. What is the end goal? And use that and your purpose, because your purpose will be directly linked into that, to make sure your business is going in the right direction. If it's not, stop and get out. And don't be afraid to have those moments. Don't be afraid to have those moments where you reconsider your identity, who you are, and what you're doing, because we all do it, wherever we are, whoever we are. And I hope you've enjoyed the slightly more raw version. Thank you very much for joining me with it. It's short, it's sweet, but we're back next week with even more great things. Speak to you soon.